So, Joe Cornish, the legend, landscape photographer, somebody I personally look up to. You've stopped by to say hello. Thank you very much for giving us some of your time. We first met years ago, and you at the time were shooting large format film, a little bit of Nikon D800 as well, and then you made a jump, and I see you're still shooting with Sony mirrorless cameras. So do you want to tell us a little bit about why, as a landscape photographer, you've chosen the A7R II?
Well, I was asked to by Sony to represent them at some years ago now, and at the time I had taken an interest in this series because they'd only been out for a few months, but already a number of friends of mine who are large format cameras photographers had said, "This is amazing. There's if you want a really, really small view camera, you can use a tilting and shifting adapter and put medium format lenses on it." That was the exciting thing from their point of view, was that it became like a little technical camera, which is still true. You can still use an A7R II, 3 or 1, or indeed any of these series cameras in that way. So that's how I started, because it kept the connection with the technical camera process. As you rightly say, I was shooting with an Ebony, beautiful camera. But digital technology has so many good things about it, and one of them, in the case of the CSC, is that this certainly is remarkably small. The lens is not so small, but the camera itself is small and very, very light. And as somebody who spends a lot of time walking and climbing mountains and so on, that's a big help.
Has it changed the way you take your photographs at all?
Yes, but not profoundly, because I still use a tripod most of the time. But I've been lucky enough to travel a lot in the last few years, and especially to the polar regions on ships, and so you shoot from the deck of a ship. You can use a tripod, but you usually don't, because the ship is usually moving, and from a Zodiac, from a rigid inflatable boat, where particularly this is extremely cool, because you can lie on the pontoon and put the camera almost in the water if it's not too chip-choppy, and take extraordinary perspectives of the world where there's icebergs and penguins or maybe polar bears if you're in the north, and so on. So it gives you a chance to really, really play. So for me, although it's still obviously a serious photographic instrument, it's huge fun to use and very liberating.
And lenses, are you using Sony lenses, or you talked a little bit about using lenses, sort of, adapting those medium, large format lenses?
I'm a terrible geek in some ways. I love all the kit, and although I try to concentrate and focus completely on the photographic process and the artistic side of it, I've got loads of lenses. But I have to say that the 24-70, as an all-purpose lens, that's the 2.8.
The G-Master 2.8, yeah.
It's a fabulous all-rounder, and since I don't shoot extreme perspectives on the whole, I generally work anywhere between 24 and say 70. I'd like to have a little bit longer, really, but that's really the bee's knees as far as image quality, all-round image quality in an easy-to-use package is concerned. The alternative to this would be to have a 24, maybe 35, 50, and a 75 or 80mm primes, which are fine, great, but you're talking 4 lenses instead of 1. And the image quality this can produce for what I do is more than adequate.
Excellent. So, 2018, what's Joe Cornish up to? Anything exciting on the horizon that you can tell us about? Any trips planned?
There are trips on the horizon. I'm going to Australia and New Zealand from the end of next week for a month, where I'm leading a tour, doing a couple of one-to-one workshops, and doing a keynote at Photographic Society of New Zealand's annual conference in Dunedin. So that should be good fun, seeing some old friends as well. Going to Svalbard via Aberdeen, and a very interesting circuitous route across the North Atlantic at the end of May into June, and then going to the Russian Arctic, providing we're not in some nuclear conflict, in late July.
Brilliant.
So yeah, a lot going on.
Joe, really appreciate your time as ever. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to chat to you.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Richard.